Hi, my name's Bruce. This is the first video I've done, so excuse the amateurish recording and everything else. I just wanted to do this just to help anyone with a Jayco camper trailer, just to put a camera on the back. I'm just going to have a brief description of what I did with my Triton, just to get an idea what I was up to, and then just show a couple of things that I found out in my messing around with it to get where I needed to get to. Leave any comments if you want any clarifications. So this is the beast. I decided to take the old radio out of the Triton, the old single din, and change it into a double din. That was a bit of a story and a half to do. So what I did is a Pioneer. It has the ability to have a reverse camera and then a separate input for either a front view camera or an extra camera, which is what I'm using for the Jayco Outback. So I use cameras from Safety Dave. I use the one of the number plate for the reverse camera for the Triton. I ran two separate sets of cabling, right from the audio unit back to the back of the Triton. You'll see the first one goes straight to the number plate camera, and the second one comes down. You'll see over there the little silver connection point for what is colloquially known as a WASA connection, or it goes with a WASA lead. And you'll find what I also did, which I'll just quickly show you, is for the camper and camera, I put in a separate switch. You'll see just that little red switch over there, because I wanted the ability to be able to turn the camera off, so if I was on a long trip that I wouldn't burn out the camera. I've heard that cameras tend to burn out quickly if they're on for too long. So as I said, with the WASA connection, I connected it here. Here's my Jayco. It's a 2008, so it's not one of these that it's a Swan. It's not one of these that have already got a place made for a reverse camera, so it's got to be all done from scratch. So what I did in the Jayco, there's two ways down the these metal struts to be able to take cabling. All my cabling is down on this, on the driver's side. Here's the lead for all the reverse lights, etc. But this one over here on this side was empty, so that's where I've got the other half of the WASA connection. So I ran that. I used a bit of, I think it's about 7mm split flexi conduit. You can get it somewhere like Repco or something along there like that, and I ran it through the hollow along here. It was great fun to about the step, and then I crossed over to the other side following the natural where the piping and some of the electrical cabling goes, and I brought it along this side, the driver's side of the camper trailer. Let's see if I can get on there. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. So you can see where it's attaching along just next to the metal, and it comes up with this strange setup at the back driver's side where the cabling comes into the flooring. Now before I show you where that bit of cabling comes up from, it's on this corner just underneath. Let me show you what you don't need to do. All right, you can see I've taken apart this back corner and unscrewed all the tail lights and the indicators. I even took this top panel off. There's a plastic panel that goes over the top of the wooden thing. This is all in my attempts to find a way to get into the hollow here, only to find out that's that nice little hole screwed in the bottom of the wood. And but this should be pretty simple enough. There's a few screws in that, but it's going to be a bit fiddly, and I'm going to have to put reseal it so it doesn't get wet. But this was my plan here. As you can see, I've already got the cable in here, but I'll show you how I got there. First of all, make things easier, getting rid of the bed needs to be done, is the best way to do it. It just gets everything out the way, and it's quite easy. Any of you who've got a Jayco will find that. I'll show you when you're inside. It's got just two bolts at either side allow you to pull the bed all the way out. You'll need someone to help you pull it off so you don't bend or buckle the tracking. So The idea was to get this as high up as possible to try and get over this tire over here, and to keep it as central as possible. And I made this all here and was hoping to get somewhere down towards the bottom, but you'll find there's some vertical struts. One's about here. My hand's not even in the picture. It's around about here, probably a couple of inches to the side of that. Goes all the way down, and then there's another horizontal one, probably at this level, about there, going all the way across. So it was more by luck than anything else that I managed to get this right. But what happened is there's actually a gap with this little horizontal, this vertical strut going down here, and between the horizontal one towards the bottom, there's actually a very small gap of about 10-15 mils, and I found it quite accidentally. I initially tried to use what's used for electricians, a cavity snake. It's one of these yellow plastic things, and I was basically just shoving it down, and I realized suddenly if I got it down at a certain angle, I would suddenly get 3 or 4 inches further down. Anyway, long story short, so let's have a quick look on the inside. I'll show you what I did there. Right, so here we are in the inside, and I'm going to try and juggle this around a bit. Excuse the camera work, it's going to be shocking. Have a look here. So this section here, it's not the side where the cable comes up, but this section here is where you've got the big drawer that you can put all your cutlery and bits and pieces. You have to, along this section here up against the back, is where all the cabling and everything works. There's your push rods and everything to push the top of the camper trailer up, and it's also got some electrical cabling. So, and there's a little step here that's got it in as well. And then across here, I don't know, the various ones have different things. Mine has a tall cupboard. It was pretty easy to take off. It was just 2 screws on the hinges. I got rid of it in that space there. On this side here, you can see this thing here was on here. Literally just 2 screws, 1, 2, and that's gone. So, as I say, what I was talking about here, the hole, you see where this roller is, the hole I made on the other side is just below there. Right, so if we look at where I wanted to come down, you can see just down here is this here, and you'll see I made some experimental holes in here. So you'll see down here, just in there, you can see where the cable has come. You saw there's my test hole there. That's one side of the strut. So just between those 2 holes, just inside and underneath this wooden structure, is either side of that vertical strut. But as you can see, it just makes it inside. So I've managed to get away with not having any holes visible inside the caravan at all. So there's my camera cable has come down through the hole. Unfortunately, with drilling those holes, you've got to get a bit of space, and you'll notice this little piece that separates all the cabling and the lifting gear, this thing here. In order to drill these holes, you've got to move this, and it's a bit of a pain in the backside. It's pretty easy. You've got all these little clips. You've got a couple of screws here. So down there on the bottom, there's 2 there, 2 there. You've got a couple of things under there, under the center strut, and there as well. And it's quite awkward to tilt it, and unfortunately the worst bit of it really, but if you've got half a hand, it's just this thing that needs to get out there. Everything is screws except for this. These are the kind of non-visible wood joining pins, if you like, on there and on here. I'm going to have to fix this one. I haven't done that one yet. But when you get rid of this is able to tilt towards one side. It comes right away, and it gives you enough space to get in here and drill those holes. Obviously, this is what I've found out. I'm assuming that they manufacture them in a similar way, and they're not sort of randomly all over the place. Otherwise you may have to work that out for yourself. But I just wanted to give people an idea of what they're looking at as far as that's concerned. So, as I said, just next to this one here, you've got just this little step. This has also got a couple of screws. A couple of them are underneath the little the flooring. It's about 4 screws on that, and so that's where the rest of the cabling goes. And so we get to the corner here, and you see where my little bottom bit comes out, just in the corner. I'm not sure if this is going to pick it up. I'm going to just give it as much light as possible. You'll see that there's a bit of a coil there, and just below it is a pre-made hole by the manufacturers. It's not getting a very good look in there. Let's see if I can get that in there. Apologies if it's not getting there. There we go. So that's the from below the floor level where it's coming in, and I brought it. That's just where I've coiled it. Ah, there we go. Gotcha. That's a better angle. There we go. Sorry about that. So there's it coming through a hole, and you'll see it comes pretty close with the other electrical cabling right to one of the cables, and you don't want anything touching to. They're pretty close. So as you can see, you can probably see I've got some cable ties, and there's a bit of extra cable I had here, so I've looped it in there, tied up nicely so it doesn't get tangled with everything. Run it through in this direction, taped everything through, and as I said, connected it through, and it's ready to go. And now I'm left with the task of putting everything back, but I've got a couple of other things I want to do, like put an extra power point here before I put the cable, before I put the cupboard down, so I'll probably do that before I put this all back together again. That's pretty much it. If I can think of anything else, I'll add to it. The other stuff, as in running it for the Triton and the Safety Dave cameras, bits and pieces, you'll find those on other sites on the web. If you want any links to those, just leave a comment and I'll put a link on for that. Thanks for your time. If you want any questions, because I'm pretty sure that's a bit of a rough ride, just let me know and I'll let you know.